Hi guys! In today's video we'll be making these cute doll boots. These were inspired by the sweet Lolita look from Japan, but obviously you can add as much detail as you want or tone them down. I made these to fit a Barbie, but you can make them for whatever doll you want. I wanted to challenge myself and try to get a more realistic shoe look than what you get if you just build your shoes directly onto the Barbie's foot, because the Barbie's foot shape doesn't really look realistic when you look at it. So I was really trying to push myself and make them look more real. To build up the silhouette of the shoe, I used some paper clay, which is air drying, and it's important you choose something to air dry so you don't have to bake it. And as some of you may have speculated, I have a separate pair of doll legs, which I use to make shoes on. This just makes it way easier. Firstly, you want to cover the doll's foot in some kitchen film to protect it. Then you want to take your clay and start building out the silhouette of the foot. Keep it somewhat thin underneath the foot to keep the arch, and then make sure you take it up as far on the ankle as you want it to go. I find these types of clay a little fiddly to work with, but I guess I'm just too used to polymer clay. Once I had it evenly covered, I smoothed out the surface with a bit of water. Then on to a very important step. You want to cut out a section from the back of the heel, and this is to make sure that the clay won't just crack once it starts retracting, once it's curing, and also to make sure we'll be able to pull the doll's foot out of the boot again. Allow this first layer to set completely, and then you remove the doll's foot to make sure you still can. Now we're going to build out the silhouette even further. At this point it still just looks like a bigger Barbie foot, and we want to change the shape. So I dampen it with a bit of water to make the new clay stick, and then I work on more clay at the tip. Cut off any excess at the bottom to make sure it stays flat. I also added some more clay to the heel to give a better profile. Make sure you don't cover the slit we made earlier. Once you're happy with the shape overall, allow it to dry completely. Once dry, use a file to smooth out any bumps. And here's the finished base. Next up, you want to use a pencil to sketch out the different sections of the shoe. Next you want to cover the base in tape and then trace the different parts onto it so you can make a pattern. And here's what the patterns end up looking like for the tip. Do the same for the other pieces. I stuck the pattern pieces onto some paper to make them a bit more sturdy before tracing them onto fabric. I used this snake pattern fabric in a light color because it has a very interesting texture when you look at it real close. Cut out your pieces but add a bit of seam allowance at the bottom of each. You're also going to need some sort of cardstock or sketchbook paper, anything sort of thick to act as the soles. I made a pattern for the sole the same way I did the other pattern pieces, and then I cut it out from some cardstock. I glued this to the bottom of the base, realizing that it didn't really mean that much difference, but I had done it anyway. Then you want to take your fabric pieces and start gluing those to the base in the proper order, meaning the one first who's going to be on the bottom. Once you've glued on all your pieces, make sure that the excess seam allowance is glued underneath the bottom of the base, and then you can add on the final sole. And that's our little boot so far. For the heel, I cut a piece of a wooden dowel at an angle so it would fit underneath, and then I used a file to add a bit of shape to it. Glue it in place and then paint it with acrylic paint. I wanted the different section of the shoe to stand out a bit more, so I took some 1.5mm ribbon and glued this in between each. This is optional. At this point I realized I hadn't painted the bottom sole, so I went in with a light brown and painted the bottom, and then sealed in both the bottom and the heel with a bit of Mod Podge. To lace the shoes, I glued on tiny pieces of some pink ribbon, finishing it off with a small bow. I glued on some small round and also a heart-shaped rhinestone in a goldish yellow color for a bit bling. As the final touch, I took some fine white lace, ruffled it up a bit, and then glued it around the top edge. And that's our finished shoe or boot. Now I have to make the other one the same way. And here we are, that's our finished boots. I think they turned out really cute, and I especially like the lace detail. If you have any requests for other types of shoes you'd like to see me make, leave them in the comments below. I'll also generally be looking for winter or Christmas requests at this point, so if you have any of those, be sure to leave them as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in a new one real soon. Bye!